Yeah.
So how do you rate yourself on core Java?
Out of
10.
10, 8, 8.5.
Okay, good. So what are the version right now you are working on core Java?
Currently, I'm using Java 8, JDK 1.8.
Okay, so have you worked on 1.5 or 1.6 or 1.7
Yeah,
also?
105, 107. I have worked.
So, okay, can you just tell me like what is new in 1.8 with respect to value?
Uh,
So you already worked on 1.5 also,
yeah.
7 and 6, right?
Okay, so
So what is
1.8.
this new?
Yeah. So in Java 8, one of the base thing they have given, that is functional programming. That is
Okay,
that you can achieve by using lambda expression. So that
okay,
helps you to reduce lots of code. The boilerplate code you can reduce by using lambda expression. And
okay,
second thing they have given, Java Stream API, means you can write
okay,
some application which will help in parallel processing.
okay,
Next, best thing they have given, like in Java, you have some utility classes like collections classes, you have array classes that has only methods, some predefined methods. So in place of writing classes from Java 8, you can write some default method behavior inside the interface directly.
okay. So
So
do you
yeah,
really see some value in the streams which is introduced in 8?
sorry.
Do you see value which is like, do you see really any value from the stream classes introduced in 8, right?
Yeah.
So what would be the value you can see? Is it really like giving some parallelism or maybe we can process the data? So what would be the difference between the collection API with the stream API and what is the value actually?
No idea. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. So, and that's why, so can you just talk about the use of generics and how it helps the developer or like,
Okay. So
is
how
that
generics
specific?
helps developer, right?
Yeah.
So see, uh, it is the new feature added in Java 5, right?
Yes.
So suppose till JDK 1.4, I have created one array list object, and
Okay.
in array list object, I can add any type of object. I can add employee object, I can add a student object, I can add customer object. Means
Okay.
there is no compile time check for the type safety. Like if I create
Okay.
the array of integer, then only integer value I can add. If I am adding a string, compiler will throw the error message. But for array list, compiler won't throw. Means we are able to add different type of objects. While adding it is
Okay.
okay, but when we are accessing that object for processing, getting some result, doing some business logic, that time if I am not checking the particular type, I will get some class cast exception. So to
Okay.
prevent that cast exception, I need to use instance of operator. I need to check whether obj instance of a student convert into a student. So lots of code you need to write. So by
Yeah.
with the help of generics, I can prevent class cast exception. I can restrict that this array list can contain only employee object or only customer object. So this is one
Okay.
benefit.
Fine.
Yeah.
I just asked the syntax like the question mark will come right when you use the generic.
Yeah.
So what case or what use case I need to use that question mark in it?
So question mark means we are defining collection of unknown.
Okay.
So collection of unknown. Like suppose I have defined some method to display so list data. And
Yeah.
if I write a list of integer, it can take only integer and we can show. But by using
Mm-hmm.
question mark, we can restrict. Like I can use question mark extends number. So only number and their subclasses object can be passed. If I use question
Okay.
mark extends person, so only person and their subclass can be used. Or if you want super, then you can use question mark super and subclasses. So you
Sure.
can specify some range. This range can be passed in that particular list or set.
Okay. So can you just tell me the thread life cycle which maybe like which you worked, right?
Yeah. So in
So what
thread,
are the state? Yeah.
yeah. So thread life cycle, when you create the thread, that thread will be in new state. That is the first state of thread. When you call the
Okay.
start method on the thread, then that thread will be placed in ready to run state. Now,
Okay.
depending on the CPU scheduling algorithm, ready to run state thread will be placed in running state. So that is one state. Now, in running state, thread will utilize the CPU time and it will perform the required operation. Means it will invoke the run method task. Now,
Okay.
on the running thread, when you call sleep method, it will go to sleep state. Now, in sleep state, thread will wait for some specified amount of time. Once the time is over, it will go to running state again. When it is going to
Okay.
sleep state, it will acquire the lock of object. It will not release. Next, when you call wait method, it will go to wait state. In wait, you have option like you can wait for indefinitely until you call notify or notify all method, or you can specify some time. The difference between wait and sleep is like inside the wait, whenever thread is going, it will release the lock of current object. Next, once thread task is completed, it will go to dead state. Or we can say one more state is there if thread is asking for some resource which is not available or which is holded by some another thread. So that time thread will be placed in blocked state. So mainly we have
Okay.
new state, runnable state, timed waiting state, blocked state, and terminated state.
Okay. Fine. So, so did you hear about the concurrent hash map which is in the on the data 107?
Yeah. So concurrent has,
So,
yeah.
so what would be the difference to the comparing the hash map and concurrent hash map? Why it is actually
So
just
see,
coming into picture?
so first I need to compare hash map and hash table. Hash
Okay.
table is synchronized version of map, which will
Yeah.
their methods are synchronized. So at a time, only one thread can access the data from the hash table, or it can write or read. So that is
Okay.
hash table. But hash map, it is not synchronized. Means a
Okay.
multiple thread, it supports the concurrency. Now, in hash table, the problem was like whenever thread is writing to it or reading from the it will lock entire object, entire hash map object. So it will not
Okay.
allow any other. Suppose that thread having 1 lakh, that hash map having 1 lakh entries. So if one
Okay.
thread is accessing, then that thread only will access. Other thread are not allowed to access. So in concurrent
Okay.
hash map, they have given one solution. They have partitioned that hash map object into 16 equal parts. That is the default partition, and it will
Okay.
not perform in lock on entire object. It will perform only the part of the object. So we can achieve the
Okay.
better concurrency. Apart from that, they have added some extra method like in hash map when you add the data, if that
Okay.
key is already exist, that key will be replaced, that value will be replaced with the new value. But if you
Okay.
don't want that, in current concurrent hash map, they have given put if absent. If not there, then only you put that. So these are the benefits. Means you can achieve better concurrency by using concurrent hash map.
Okay, fine. And one more thing, when you use hash map, right? Let's say I added some object in it, and I'm just trying to iterate it, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, different way we can iterate the map, right? So when
Okay.
I'm trying to iterate it, can I add a new entry in it
Uh, so,
as the iteration?
so you have hash map, you have entries in that, and you want to iterate.
Yeah, I am part of. I'm just a part of that iteration code.
Okay.
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 We have like many ways we can iterate, right? Using the for loop or like we have other and like right
Okay.
intercept or key
Okay.
set.
Okay.
As part of that block of code, I just wanted to add one more entry in the object hash map object. Is
Okay.
it possible?
No, in
Or what would be
hash
the
map it is not possible. It will give you concurrent modification exception. But in
okay?
concurrent hash map it is possible.
Okay, fine. And let's say I have a set of element with me, which is not duplicate actually. Okay, I have a unique element. Okay, I want to use either array list or set. So which one you will go with?
Generally, whenever we are going to add a custom object like customer or array, student or employee, that time
Okay.
generally we will use set because you need to maintain, like you need to override hash code method in your student class. You need to override equals method because whenever you add the data into set, it will check for hash code and equals method. But in the case of list, it will not verify. Whatever object you give, it will add as it is. And if you want to maintain some kind of order, like you want to maintain some kind of insertion order, then we will go for list. If you don't want to maintain insertion order, we can go for set.
Okay, can you explain about that hashing technique which you explained, like how it is put it in a bucket, and if I want to put one particular, let's say I have a student, right? I have a become commerce student or I have a computer student. I want to put all the computer student in one bucket. So how will you define your logic?
So you need to override the hash code method in your class, and you return the hash code method based on the student object data. Means two student object data is same, then you need to return the same hash code value. So what happens whenever you are adding the student object into hash any set subclasses, that time what it will do, it will call the hash code method on that object. After calling the hash code method, it will give some big integer value. So generally that integer value is used to identify the bucket index where it will be placed. But that integer value is very big. So to shrink that integer value to a small number, they are calling hash function. That hash function will shrink that integer value to one digit number, maybe 7, 8 or 2-digit number. So whatever number hash function returns, in that particular index, the data will be stored with that is data, actual data, and hash code value. And suppose if some collision occurs, same hash code found, then in the same index with the next linked list, it will store the next data. And while accessing it,
example
come
for
again?
that collision? Can you give me example for that collision? You said that same hash code happens, so it will be part of the linked list, right?
Suppose I am storing one integer object and one long object whose data is 99.
Okay,
so 99 when I am storing in the set or hash map, suppose as a key, then for 99 hash code will be same. Either you call integer object hash code or long object hash code, it will return 99. So when they call hash function on that 99, it will return same value. So because for two objects that hash function returns same value, so it will be stored in the same index of that map, but in the next entry.
Okay. Yeah. So, and one more stuff like right, single core, multi-core CPU right now, right? You can see multi-core CPU. And what is mean by multi-threading in single core and multi-core? So, do you really see multi-threading or multitasking in the single core, or it is actually parallel? But we like look at like it is just parallel. So, can you just explain your thought on that part?
Can you come again?
No, you know the single core, multi-core, right? When you say multi-threading, so how it really is it multi-threading in single core CPU? Even if you programmatically like have multiple threads to do something, but actually is it like a parallel or it's kind of sequential in single core?
Okay. Let me think on this. See, by using single core processor also, we can achieve multi-threading. If you have
I agree, we can achieve. But really it is like in background it is parallel or sequential?
It depends
because
on
every time some task to execute in CPU, it has to get the CPU time slot, right? So
So see, what is happening behind the scene, what I have observed, what I understand. Suppose I have 3 processes in queue. And
let's talk about single processor right now. And
3 process I have, 3 tasks I have to do. So one way of processing is task 1 will go to the CPU, it will process and it will come out. Task 2 will go, task 3 will go and process and come out. So this is called a single tasking system. In multitasking system, what happens? Suppose task 3 required only 2 milliseconds to finish, but task 1 and 2 required 10 milliseconds. So because task 3 has only 2 millisecond task, but it has to wait for 20 milliseconds. So in multiprocessing system, like what they are doing, they have some round robin algorithm or time slice algorithm. What they are doing, in place of giving entire time to one process, they're switching between the process. They're using context switching mechanism. So they're giving only 2 milliseconds to each processes. So what will happen? Process 3 will be completed in 4 seconds only, 4 milliseconds only. So internally something like that they are doing to achieve multiprocessing.
Okay. So what is the conclusion right now? Is it like really parallel in background, or how it is?
In background, if you go to processor level, nothing is parallel. At a time, processor can process only one instruction. But because they are switching the context in so much fast way that we are seeing that they are doing multiple tasks.
Yeah, good, very good. And if you have the same like multi-core, you will see the real parallelism, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, man. For core, I'm okay with that. And and you worked on Solid and the JSP as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So do you have any idea about this AngularJS, Node.js?
No. I'm trying to learn. I thought I will learn UI also, so I thought I will start with Angular. But I have seen to learn Angular, you should have some JavaScript and CSS and some jQuery concept. So I started with JavaScript and all little bit.
Okay, no issue.
Yeah.
And with respect to Servlet, so do you have any idea about Servlet filter?
Yeah, Servlet filter, I know. I have not worked, but I know I have good concept on that.
Okay, can you just explain the purpose of it or where we can use it?
So I'm developing one web application. In that I have one login requirement, I have one register requirement, one I have search requirement.
Okay.
And I have some tasks like I have to verify the user authenticity, security related, I have logging related, I have data compression. Means some tasks are there. Those tasks are called as pre-processing tasks. So for these tasks, I need to validate the user authenticity. I need to validate. I need to perform some logging. So these some tasks are there that is common for all the requests, whether it is login, register, or search. I have the same common task. So if I write the same code in all the classes, it is duplicate code. So by using filter, what you can do, whatever pre-processing and post-processing task you have, you can define inside the filter. You can design one filter or you can design 3 filters like they have done in Structs2 or Spring they have done. They have front controller as a filter. So before going to your actual servlet, we can configure the filter. We can use filter chaining. So it will do all the pre-processing tasks, then it will call the servlet service method, then it will do post-processing task, and then response will be sent back to the client.
Okay. As part of the filters, right? So can the filter, when the request coming into filter path, so the header parameter, can it be like updated or what would be the case? I have a header parameter.
Again. When filter?
Yeah, once the request has been interrupted by filter, right? The request has some header parameter with some value. So can I change that value?
Can I clean? If you are asking, can we remove that header?
Remove or maybe update or change the value from maybe 10 to 20 or some change in it.
No, in a request is read only, right? Whatever data is coming from the client, the request parameter is read only. We can't add anything in that request.
Okay.
We have attribute for that. If you want to add or remove, you have to use your own attribute. Request parameter is read only. Only we can read the data by calling get parameter and all.
Okay. So have you worked on Spring and Hibernate part?
Yeah. Spring, Hibernate, and web services. Currently, I'm working.
Okay. So the Spring IoT part internally, like how it is being designed. I mean, what is the design pattern being used for the IoT? Yeah.
So
you have the container, right? Called the bean container, which will be just once you configure, you will get the bean right automatically. So what is the design pattern used internally, like to get this?
Okay. Spring IoT. I think they have used some like singleton design pattern, some proxy design pattern. Proxy design pattern is there. Singleton is there. Factory design pattern will be there.
Okay. So do you have any deep knowledge with any design pattern, creational or behavioral or structural, any pattern?
I have like Singleton, I know very good.
Okay.
I
Okay.
know factory design pattern.
Okay.
I know front controller, MVC, DAO.
Okay. And do you know what is the design pattern being used in the file stream related APIs like input stream, output stream, in that IO related stuff?
Okay, file input stream. No idea, sorry.
Okay, no worry. And you have some idea about the REST API and the SOAP as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, can you see some, just tell when I can go with the REST related API and when I can go with SOAP related API? So some use cases, or what would be the difference between these two approaches?
So the SOAP, I can say it is very heavyweight approach.
Okay.
And in SOAP, your data will go in terms of envelope means so many protocols, so many restrictions, so many layers are there in the case of SOAP architecture. Writing the
Okay.
client code in SOAP is not easy task. Whatever data you are getting in SOAP, you will get only XML. So processing XML is not easy task. So many API you have to use for that. While SOAP is easy to use, and it is based on simple servlet like HTTP request, HTTP response you are getting, and REST supports any types of response. You can get JSON, XML, image, any type of response you can get in terms of this REST. If you want to provide the security in REST, you have HTTPS. HTTPS you can use, or some token mechanism you can use. For REST, you need to use some WS security, some OAuth and kind of thing.
Okay.
These are the main differences I know.
Okay. So more or less you talked about the negative part of the SOAP, right? XML heavy and it is some heavyweight and other stuff. So do you see any positive part using XML response?
Sorry, come again.
No, you mostly talked about the negative part of using SOAP UI, right? It is always responding only XML, right? The response would be only XML.
Yeah.
Do you see any positive side of having the XML as a response?
What is the problem with XML?
No, any positive comment of using that XML as a response?
Positive.
Like it can be like you can do some validation kind of stuff and you can
like in XML we have XSD, like XML schema will be there. So if you are defining the schema, then whatever data and whatever elements you are defining, that you can validate. In JSON we don't have any validation mechanism inbuilt.
Okay. So can you talk about the Spring scope when you configure the bean, right? So what are the scopes? What is the default scope? Can I just
so if you want to configure bean in a Spring context.xml, then you need to write some. You need to have XML header, some XML namespace will be there. Then you have bean ID. Then you have bean class. If you want to use any attribute like lazy loading, or if you want to use any lifecycle method, init method, destroy method, then inside that, if you have any dependencies, so you can use getter injection, you can use constructor injection.
Okay.
That we can configure. If you are using a Spring MVC, then you need to enable context namespace. You need to configure base scan, component scan, base package.
Okay.
These are the things we need to do.
Okay. So okay, man, I'm just done. So do you have any questions? So I will move you to next level.
Okay. No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.